KwaZulu-Natal Premier Nomusa Dube is leading the visit to AmaZulu King Misuzulu in palace. Service delivery issues and preparations for the coronation are expected to be topping the agenda. The coronation will take place on the 29th of October, despite legal battles to dethrone Misuzulu Kazwelithini. eNCA reporter Siphamandla Goge following that story for us. Ncome, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your time. This visit by the KwaZulu-Natal Premier, do we know how it's been going?
Well, that visit is underway. The meeting is underway inside the palace here, Wakangela Mankengane Royal Palace. Basically, it's just a form of introduction. Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, that's Nomusa Dube, will introduce her executive council members, and then the king will also interact with the cabinet. They will discuss issues related to that big ceremony that is coming up on the 29th of October, the certificate handover ceremony. I'm talking about that certificate of recognition for King Misuzulu as AmaZulu King. It will be attended by President Cyril Ramaphosa and other dignitaries. So this meeting is mainly about those two issues or two things that will be discussed here. Formal introduction, the King will meet the executive, but they will also talk about preparations for that certificate handover ceremony. How far the preparations, what is it that the king needs to be briefed about, what is it that the executive of KwaZulu-Natal, talk about the executive council, needs to know for that upcoming ceremony. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday there was a visit to the Moses Mabhida Stadium by members of the interim, or rather the ministerial committee that is overseeing the preparations for the coronation event or the certificate handover ceremony. They will, going through the Moses Mabhida Stadium to check logistically what will be happening, where and how. The breakdown issues of security. Kokta minister was there, police minister was there as well. So today the KwaZulu-Natal cabinet is visiting the king to finalize and talk about those preparations, to say how are things going to unfold when that ceremony takes place on the 29th of October. So Premier Nomusa Dube is inside there. All MECs are also present in that meeting. There are other senior princes from the AmaZulu Royal Palace that are accompanying the king. We expect that after this we will be able to have some interviews. There are a number of issues that we need to put to the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Nomusa Dube, as well as the Royal House, about the upcoming ceremony. But also remember, our viewers would have noticed that there have been some rumblings and talks about, Premier Nomusa Dube not necessarily being seen attending some of the major royal ceremonies. I'm talking about a ceremony, the most important one, when the king was entering the kraal. She was not there, but those who work with her say she had a personal commitment that was planned for a very long time, so it coincided and clashed with that kraal entering ceremony, so she couldn't attend. During the reed dance ceremony, she was out of the country. She couldn't attend that as well. She has always deployed. It's either the leader of government business in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Duma, or Health MEC Nomakuku Simelane to stand in for her. But today she is present, leading the delegation that is meeting with the king.
There must be a huge sense of anticipation, Siphamandla, ahead of the 29th of October. After all, the last time an AmaZulu king was coronated was in 1971. That's so many years ago, and that was, of course, King Goodwill Kapeguzulu.
Indeed, and at that time things were different. Yes, there were issues within the royal family, because there were those who did not believe at the time that King Goodwill Zwelithini Kapeguzulu should ascend to the throne. There were rumblings within the royal family, and in this case there are those similarities as we speak. There is that ongoing dispute. There are some within AmaZulu Royal family who believe that King Misuzulu KaZwelithini should not be occupying that seat. He should not be on the throne, even though for now as we speak his family on the throne, because according to those who support him, they say the ceremony of the 29th of October is not necessarily what we call coronation, but it's just a handover, or rather it's a certificate handover ceremony, because South Africa is a constitutional democracy. Kings and queens are recognized by the government for them to get their stipends, but also they serve, by the way, as public representatives, so they need to derive certain benefits, and for them to be able to do that in terms of the law and the act, they need to be recognized formally and officially. So but those who are historians, cultural experts say the king of AmaZulu is already firmly on the throne. So that symbolic ceremony on the 29th of October will be for the government led by President Cyril Ramaphosa to hand over that recognition certificate to say you are hereby formally recognized as AmaZulu king. But yes, 1971, King Zwelithini coronated officially. So remember, he was very young when he took over the throne. He went on to rule for about 50 years. His departure created some sort of chaos and instability within AmaZulu Royal family, with some people still disputing that King Misuzulu is the rightful heir to the throne. There are ongoing court cases that are unfolding, and moving forward even beyond the 29th of October, beyond that ceremony, we'll continue to see some legal action in terms of the throne being contested.
Yeah, and very briefly, Siphamandla, before I let you go, there would be concerns, of course, therefore, from what you've just said about security.
Absolutely. And those concerns have been growing even during the read-dance ceremony. Police Minister Pegicele did concede and confirm to eNCA that there were security concerns. Some people had uttered statements that AmaZulu King Misuzulu KaZwelithini was not going to attend and address the read-dance ceremony. There were those who had threatened bloodshed at the time, but of course things were able to be controlled. The police were able to put in place a detailed security plan. Pegicele, police minister, telling me during the read-dance ceremony that on the 29th of October, security will be heightened, not only for the king's safety, but for the safety of everyone who will be attending that certificate handover ceremony. So the king's security continues to be a major talking point and a concern. As I see here, Mr. Mtateni Lennox Mabaso, who is the head of provincial government communications, is emerging, telling us that the meeting is going to wrap up soon and they will come and address us. I think he's saying those who are responsible for government protocol will be bringing in some cattle that will have to be declared to the king, as we see Inyosibuze Mveche also there in discussion with Mr. Lennox Mabaso, who is the head of provincial government communication in KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll let you go now, Siphamandla, to get ready to prepare for that briefing that's about to happen there after the meeting between the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government, led by the Premier, with, of course, that's Premier Nomusa Dube-Ncube, with King Misuzulu KaZwelithini.